I want students engaged, I want them interested, I want them to have a voice. So I'm really, really pleased and proud of all of you that are here today. Thank you so much for coming. People always talk about how important accessibility is for post-secondary education, and normally we think of things like financial, geographic, those types of things, but parking is also an issue around accessibility, and it's something we take seriously, and you take seriously. So I want to thank all of you for the input that you've been providing. In particular, I want to thank you for your thoughtful and respectful input from students. We have a culture here at the University of Regina that's open, respectful, and inclusive, and I want to continue with your help to build on that. And hopefully today will be one of those occasions. Our strategic plan calls on all of us to enhance accessibility and flexibility in our university, to be open to change and to treat each other respectfully. And that's the spirit in which I have called this forum today. And this is at the request of the Student Union. I hope it's a spirit in which all of you are here today. All of us want our campus to be a welcoming place for all of us to study. And I know that your interest in being here, that you and I have the very same goal. So this is a very positive thing, a way for us to explore options to improve parking on campus. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely. And we're looking forward to hearing your ideas. So will everything we hear today be workable? Maybe, maybe not. So I'm going to ask that we get a dialogue going, so we look at creative and construction suggestions that we can explore as a university, that we can work towards. The Student Union said we have creative solutions for you. Would you call a public forum? I am thrilled to hear about your creative solutions. So I want to keep my remarks short today so I can hear from you. I want to listen to your feedback, your constructive feedback, your ideas, and how we can improve parking on this campus. This is all being recorded down, all your ideas, so we can explore them. So, let's begin. A number of you have sent me suggestions because they could not be here today, a number of students and staff, and that's great. Again, it shows the kind of engagement that we want on this campus. So let's get things started, and let me pose the question to get our conversation going. What are the creative, constructive, and practical ways that as a university community we can address parking issues to improve the campus experience at the University of Regina? You've told me you have creative solutions. I'm open to hear from you. Mike is here. Hi, Kent.
Hello, Dr. Timmons. Thank you for holding this forum today. I think a lot of people have a lot of questions, but also a lot of solutions too, as you've mentioned, and you'll be hearing from me later on, but I want to give other people a chance to talk as well. So my question, just to start things off, is I don't think the university should have to wait for the Students' Union to ask for consultation. Student consultation should be part of the decision-making process always. So my question is, while you undertake this process to consult students, will you put on pause the university's policy to increase parking ticket fees 333% until you can hear from the solutions that students have and go about implementing them?
And Kent, the decision on the parking is not the President's decision. As you know, because you're a member of the Board of Governors, that is a board decision, so I do not have the authority to pause it. But I will take every suggestion I get in this forum. We will look at it carefully, and we will take back to our board any that will allow them to look at information to maybe reconsider that decision, if possible. So that I'm open to getting feedback back to our board based on your discussions today. Okay, Ken? Because it is a board decision, not mine. Thank you. And you can too, because you're on the board. So you can help bring some of those ideas back too. And could you introduce yourself, let me know who you are? Hi.
Hi. I'm short.
So am so much.
My name is Mariah Perkins. I'm on the ERSI board. And I guess I'm having a hard time with this because it costs so much money for tuition. It costs so much money to eat here. It costs so much money to live here. And now it's getting increasingly expensive to park here. And I believe that the average Canadian student is leaving university with $35,000 in debt. And when the university is going to continue to increase the costs that it's going to cost for students to be at the university, how is that fair? Like, I feel like the university is helping students increase their debt instead of helping find a solution. And it's not just no parking, like it's a bigger issue. And I think that why we're so upset about it is because I don't have the money to be paying $65 or $100, you know, if I somehow screw up or, you know, with parking. And, you know, yes, people should be more responsible where they park, but if we had a better parking situation, maybe people wouldn't have to park somewhere. So, like, my concern is that with the 300 nursing students or so, that has been known for over a year now, and there hasn't been a parking lot to accommodate those students. Parking services had said that they were going to build a gravel lot that was going to accommodate at least 200 students, but that has yet to be done. So why was it not possible to at least have that for the first day of school so that there could have been at least some work to help accommodate students a bit more so that there could have been more accessibility to parking spots? Because not only is this going to affect students, it's going to affect the public around the university, because contrary to what parking services has said, students are going to park on the street, they're going to park in front of people's homes, people are going to get upset, and it's going to reflect badly on us. And I don't know, it's not a win-win, it's kind of a lose situation.
And it is a challenge, as you have identified. All of those things are a challenge. We're doing our best to keep the tuition as low as we possibly can. We're the 12th lowest in the country, and we are hoping to keep that firm on that. So we really care about the cost to you as students. So I'm looking to you to help me with creating solutions and ideas. We're doing our best. I will say that at the prime time the other day, on Tuesday, when the nursing students were on campus, we did do a parking audit, and there were 200 spots that were available on the campus to park at that time. So we're really conscientiously paying attention to this, monitoring it, watching it carefully, and as you know, we are expanding our parking lots. So do you have ideas, solutions for me, things that can help, we can take back to our team to look at?
I just think that you shouldn't have waited so long to create that parking lot. I think that it should have started a long time ago when you knew that there were going to be increased enrollment on top of the nursing students.
Well, I wish I had known there was going to be increased enrollment. That is one of the most unpredictable things we have. But I appreciate your comments. You know, we had 15% decrease in enrollment the first 4 years before I came here to the university. We're now back up to that level. And so we can't predict enrollment, so I'd love to have that ability. So we are watching this carefully, and I'm aware very much of your challenges. And I wish I could have predicted the enrollment increase too. I agree with you.
But nursing students, we knew that they were going to be increasing.
Yeah, we did, and we looked and planned for that, and we will have to continue to do better planning.
Because with parking, there's no parking lot to accommodate them. So what plans did you have to accommodate the nursing students?
Well, we had at that time, we didn't know we were going to have a 10% enrollment increase. We did have enough parking for what we thought was the demand on campus at the time. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to introduce yourself, please.
Hi there, I'm Paul Goshen. I'm the VP for Finance for the Graduate Students Association. I think I'm going to start off a bit different than everyone else. The Graduate Students Association actually doesn't have a 30 minutes, so I'm going to speak more as a student itself. I've actually never had an issue with parking. It shocked me actually when you said that there was an issue. I found that, yeah, you may have to walk a little bit, but as a sort of an example, when I was at U of A, the parking tickets were about $60, and sometimes you have a parking pass, and you still have to park on the road, and that's just how it is. And so yeah, I'm surprised just how intense this is. For what I'm surprised at even more though, is there's no youth pass, and parking is such a big problem. When you have a demographic of seniors who have, I don't want to forget the words, they have a fixed income just as students, and they get $100 for 6 months, and we pay $53 for 1 month. Doesn't make any sense to me. I know people say, oh, traffic's bad, but maybe we put more money towards it so you can better allocate money, and we can try to make it better. But anyway, that's sort of, if we do, parking doesn't need to be an issue. More people take the bus. More people, I'm hoping, will take the bus. There's more for you.
Thank you, Paul. And you know, I would love to partner with the student union on looking at ways to do a youth pass. I know that the referendum on the youth pass, or the gold pass, whatever you call it, was defeated by you, the students, who said that wasn't where you wanted to see an investment. But it's something the University of Regina is very open with partnering on student union honors. I'd love to see the students have U-Passes, and then we can improve the transit when we have more transit users. So I think that is a good solution. Okay, next. I watched your videos. One of them.
There's another one now, yeah.
You've got a new one up there. So well done, by the way.
Hi everybody, I'm Tommy Douglas, just your average run-of-the-mill student here at the U of R. And before I start, I just want to almost kind of apologize on behalf of the student body. A lot of anger was actually directed towards Dr. Timmons, and I just want to say that it's unreasonable to think that it's her job to micromanage down to that level. And I hope everybody's here not angry today, just concerned. And so anyways, here's what I propose. I mean, there's a whole plethora of solutions, from public transit to planning for growth rather than simply just accommodating every year's growth. We tend to build parking lots rather quickly when we need them. And I mean, that works to a certain extent, but every year we end up overselling these lots. And the issue is not that certain people don't want to pay their pass and they get a ticket. I mean, if you don't pay your pass and you're parking illegally, you deserve a $65 ticket. You deserve to be towed almost. If you park in someone's driveway and leave your vehicle there, you're going to get towed. So I mean, $65 ticket, I have no issue with that. But for the student with an M parking pass who can't park in his own lot, is forced to park in another lot, who's paid for a service, not receiving a service, and now being penalized for both let's say, poor management and other students taking advantage of it. I mean, the $65 ticket doesn't bother me at all if we have a system that works. And I believe the issue is a little bit, it's more like proper planning. You have to understand that parking services is essentially a business. And businesses plan years in advance. And the issue here is, although parking passes, they go on sale fairly early in the semester before next semester, most students don't really show up to buy their pass till the 2 weeks before. If you ever pay attention to parking services at the first 2 weeks of any semester, they're lined up down the hall pretty much the whole day with everybody buying passes. And the issue that creates is, well, they don't know how often these students are going to be on campus because they do oversell passes, and that can be efficient in some senses. But what happens is, they go out there and they're counting cars in the lots, trying to figure out how many students they can fit on this lot. And the issue is, they don't know in advance. They don't know if we need more parking space in advance. And if we keep building gravel lots, eventually we're going to run out of room on campus. So what I propose is maybe a parkade is time, maybe it's high time to start investing in a structure that you can start building. And you don't have to complete 6-7 levels to a parkade. You can put the first 3 down, accommodate the growth that we have, and you can keep building on top of that without, taking away those parking spaces below. I'm not saying you have to excavate and build an underground parking lot, but let's find a reasonable solution. I mean, we're all adults here. There's no reason to get angry, but there's a problem, and let's address it.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Well, look, we have looked and we will continue looking at the feasibility of building parkings. Thank you for that.
Hi, my name is Tori Gillis. Hi, Tori. I'm Tori.
Hi, Tori.
I'm a student at the J-School right here. My problem is a little bit different. I didn't have the money available for a parking pass until September. Like many students, student loans don't come right until that last minute, so I couldn't buy my parking pass. I believe I'm number 159 on the waiting list right now. I have the money. I would love to buy a pass, but I can't. Parking Services has told me that my only other option to park on campus is to use meters, which I believe at the very least will cost me $8 a day. Oftentimes I'm racing to get out there to refill that meter. I don't always have the money, and that's a problem for me. But my issue is, I've been told to use these meters. I've never had to search for a spot at the meter. Why can't I buy a pass and park at that meter spot, pay my money, and not interrupt my education and have a parking spot?
Thank you, Tori. Again, I'll ask Parking Services and our planning team to look at that option. Thank you.
I'm also curious too, just as, like I said, 159 on the waiting list, how is that not something that can be anticipated? Was there not a waiting list last year?
Yeah, there was a waiting list last year of 100 students last year, and we are, with the new parking lot that we're hoping will get up and running soon, there will be 485 stalls.
So what about my parking tickets in the meantime that I'm getting almost daily? I mean, I'm coming at 8 o'clock so I can come into the school, buy a coffee so I have $1 to put in the meter, and hopefully have a break in my 3-hour class to get out there and fill it again. What do I do with these parking tickets I'm getting every day?
Tori, you pay them, and we'll keep looking at their solutions as best we can. You know, the city, it manages our parking, and I mean, what I'm here today is to hear as many solutions as I can so we can improve it for you.
I just feel like I'm paying a cover charge to come to my classes.
Hi, I'm John Fine.
Hi, John.
I'm here not as an employee because I walk to work, but here under a different hat because I'm the president of the Regina Car Share Cooperative, and I'm also a member of Bike to Work Regina. And so I'm interested in sustainable transportation. And I've got some solutions, both sustainable ones and also ones that will help drivers immediately on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you going to share some with us?
I sure
Thanks,
will.
John.
I've even brought a ruler and diagrams and stuff, but visually enthusiastic. Okay, so the problem is that there's too many cars on campus here. And there's a lot of parking passes that can be sold to make money to parking services. So they've got money in cars, but they don't have a place to put cars. About a 10-minute walk away, there's a large parking lot with potholes and no money to fix those potholes and no cars. So put the two together and you have solutions for both.
Where's that, John?
Connect this art center. Everybody can just park there. The university can work out a formal agreement with them anytime this week, next week, or next month, and suddenly you have 1,000 parking spots available for weekdays when they don't have any cars there.
We'll follow through on that recommendation. Keep going.
Yeah, if anyone's skeptical about this, you're welcome to go to Google Maps and with a ruler or something, you can measure out how far it is the distance from that parking lot to the classroom building. It's the same distance people parking on Hillsdale will walk to the education building, or from lot 15 over to First Nations University. So it's not a long hike. It's just that there's not a lot in between. For cycling, you can paint lines on University Drive next week.
Okay. I know we've got more spots for bicycles to park, so we're looking at that seriously.
More bicycle cages?
Yeah.
Where are the bicycle cages, do you have to know?
I think we did this in the parkade.
Okay. And what about additional shower facilities for cyclists?
Suggestion for us to look at?
Yeah, there's one, one washroom in the education building just closed recently for the shower.
Okay.
So that, unfortunately, is wrong for cycling. That's good that you're adding more bike parking. For transit, I was going to say, don't defeat a U-Pass if you want to create.
I didn't defeat
I know, I'm speaking to the people who feel that it's unfair that they would have to contribute to the transit of others, whereas on campus, everybody helps pay for parking even if you don't drive. And the university could also offer a parking spot for free to Regina Car Share Cooperative, or even a vehicle or two. And other campuses have car sharing on their campus. And then each car that's shared reduces the number of cars on the road by anywhere between 9 to 13 is the latest peer-reviewed research.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Hi.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm in the same position as the lady that just spoke. I'm on a waiting list for a parking permit, mainly due to when my student loan money came in. I'd like to know why parking services can't even tell me how many people are on the waiting list and what my position is on it. I've been told twice that there's more than one waiting list and that they have plans to merge these lists. Well, the problem with trying to merge those two lists is that people are inevitably going to be moved up or moved down on that list. Some people are going to get screwed, like a lot of us already have been, and some people are going to benefit from it. So the idea of merging these two lists is not the greatest idea because people are not going to be treated fairly or equally.
I will find out where you are on that list for you, okay? Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just Vianne, and I'm just an average student like everybody else. I actually do have a parking permit. I pay $280 for it. My complaint is if my designated area is full and I park in somebody else's spot, I still get the $65 ticket that people without passes get. So I'm suggesting that people with passes that are for this semester, they should be, if their spot is full and they park in an empty parking lot, maybe a $10 or $15 ticket, but $65 ticket on top of my $280.
We'll look into that for you. I will. I'll look into that. Thank you. How are you?
Hi, my name is Paige, and I'm the VP External for the Students' Union. First of all, I just want to thank Vianne for hosting this forum, and thank all the students for coming out. It's really encouraging to see so much student participation and involvement in issues that affect us. So I have a couple of comments and suggestions and questions about carpooling. I understand that there is an initiative right now at Parking Services that there are a few selected spots that if carpoolers come that they can get, and they're kind of prime spots. However, if those carpoolers come past 10 a.m., those spots are up for grabs for anybody. So while I think this is a good initiative, I think it's kind of lip service because many students don't have class until after that time. So I'd like to see maybe some investment in investigation in that rule. Also, on the topic of carpooling, I think Parking Services, a lot of what I'm gathering here is that we're having trouble with the reactive solutions rather than being proactive. So on the topic of carpooling, I don't know, this is something, I don't know if anybody's done this or if it can be done, but I'm just wondering if using some of the profits from Parking Services, that they could make a kind of a side project of getting a small carpool fleet and managing that and possibly helping, yeah. Oh, car sharing is different. Okay, well, I'm talking carpooling. I don't know all the lingo yet. But yeah, I guess that would kind of be something that I would suggest looking into.
Thanks, Paige. Hi, how are you?
Good. My name is Jen, and I work for the Regina Public Interest Research Group, but my views are just my own today. So first, I just wanted to thank Vianne for being willing to hold this consultation with students. I've always, It's really nice to go to a university that's small enough that the president will come and talk with students, so I think we should thank her for that. So I guess there was just a couple points that I wanted to talk about, and the first one was the idea of using past profits from parking services to build a parkade. And so I've talked to other people on other campuses, and their sentiment is that the parkade is too expensive for students to buy passes for, and that it was built with essentially student money from past parking services profits, and then the staff people who fuel the university are the ones who can actually afford to pay for those passes. And so I'm not sure that a parkade is the best option for students, because then students will just be left with sort of the parking spots that they have now. So that's just an idea there. But I guess my question is, I was wondering what the University of Regina is doing with the City of Regina Transportation Services, and how they've been working with, say, the bus service or people who promote biking to university and work in the past, because it does have a lot to do with the students, but the administration has a lot of influence as well. So I'm just wondering sort of how you've been working with those groups.
We've been working closely with the city on a wide array of initiatives around parking. We looked at whether or not the university itself could afford a U-Pass for every student, which would be controversial because some students would say that they're subsidizing a U-Pass when they don't want it. But we were looking at those kind of arrangements. We meet with them on a regular basis to look at, what we can do to promote more sustainability around the parking issue on campus. And it's a very challenging and complex issue, but I'm hoping that from the creative solutions you provide me, that we can actually move that conversation in more depth and forward. So we do meet with them regularly. We're trying to look at whatever creative solutions we can around the parking.
So you actually looked at subsidizing a U-Pass for students? Is that still an option?
I said earlier I'd be very willing to work with you on seeing a way we could do that. I would be thrilled to. And all of you, that means, though, that you'll have to let me know, and you did let me know through your referendum that that wasn't what you were ready to invest in. So I'm hoping that maybe we can have another conversation if you're willing to do so. Hi, Ken.
Hi. I would just like to continue the discussion about carpooling. So I would agree with Paige that the current carpool initiative is a bit of lip service and it could be improved certainly. But one group of people that are particularly harmful are students, because classes start at different times. Some people have classes and then a break, and some don't, and then sometimes you have part-time jobs to get to. But one group of people that it's easy to carpool are university employees. They start at the same time and they end at the same time. And so I'm wondering if there could be, more or less, given where they work. And so I'm wondering if there could be more, work put into actually trying to organize an initiative, especially for university employees, just because it would be easier. And then if it's successful, try and look at extending it to students. Because that alone would free up probably 300 spots for people who pay for parking passes.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you. Hi.
Hey, Ryan. My name is Austin Davis. I'm a journalism student.
Hi, Austin.
I just have one question. Why are the meter people, why are they on commission?
I don't think they're on commission. I've never heard that. They're not on commission. Is it Nelson?
As far as I know.
I have it on source.
Okay, well, I'll call through, but they're all salary on my book, so I'll follow through to make sure that that's Austin. Thank you. Hi, Tom.
Sorry, I forgot something. It's nervous when you're standing up here.
Ask me, Tony. Ask me.
Yeah. Are you sure? Just one solution that I forgot to mention. I mean, we're on UR self-serve all the time, registering for classes and things like that. And we register for classes, before the semester, and then, a couple weeks down the road, then we buy our passes. Well, why not have an option just to give parking services a little more data? Why not have an option? Will you be needing a parking pass? Yes, click the option. Doesn't mean you have to pay. Reserve your spot.
On adding on my connected parking idea, you could easily have a shuttle too that goes from there to here to Sayasti, and then from the green and I mean, this is the way that literally people can almost do it themselves and solve this problem next week.
Thanks. No, we have to explore the shuttle option, and we will continue to do so. Thanks.
I have one more comment. Just before I say this, it's right that no matter how much you guys increase parking tickets, you guys only get to keep so much, and that's what's in the city of Regina, correct? Okay, so why aren't we talking to the city of Regina? If parking tickets are $65, then why don't we keep that $65? And because it's our students' money, why aren't we using that to make a parkade? It seems that's so expensive for everybody. Like, why isn't the $65? Why are we only keeping $15 and giving the rest to the city hall? Why aren't we working with the city hall to make a parkade and just fix all of this without increasing ticket prices or pass prices?
Great suggestion. It's a negotiation that we'll keep looking at.
Okay, that's something that jogged my memory. I'm in a citizen circle. Right now, Regina has Design Regina running right now. Last night they had an extremely informative presentation in the education auditorium about city design and why there are these parking flows. So if you want to learn more about that and why things are so messed up right now, you can go online. It's on probably on the city's website. I put it on Regina Car Share's blog. It's on my blog. You can find this video or get in touch with me and watch why things are not good. And you can talk to the city directly through a citizen circle. The Regina Car Share is hosting one to do with transportation, so you can talk to me and we'll all fill in the workbook and present it to the city, and they will have to incorporate it into their master plan somehow to make sense, and of course it will because we're all smart people.
Thanks, John. Hi.
Hi, my name is Pamela Wilson. I'm a third-year student here. For the past 2 years, I was fortunate enough to get a Zen parking spot and have an electric spot. I put my name on the list back in May. I'm one of the top 50 on the list, and I was told that no electric spots were released for public. All were given to the residents. So now I have an M spot, but what is bugging me right now is I'm walking all the way out from the back of the M lot, and I'm walking past all these resident spots that have all open lots at all different times of day. The parking lot out by the kinesiology, resident spots, there's a ton of open spots where all of our M parkers are circling. So I just think a good solution would be to look at the different allocations of the parking lot.
Thank you for that. And I'll ask for parking services to follow up on that if there's lots of empty spots in the designated residence. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I think another possible solution, if you look at lot number 17, if you push it back more towards the highway, you can easily put more parking spaces right there.
Thank you. Thank you. You have that, Nelson? Lot number 7. Any more comments? Paige?
Hi, so okay, I don't know if I can do this or not, but there are a lot of students here, so I just want to tell you all that if a UPass is something that you all see as a possible solution, we need to actually all work together and investigate in the specifics of it and get it done. It's an option, and we can all, the main city of Regina and the students union, work together, but you all need to speak up, so send your suggestions our way.
Thanks, Paige.
Hi, Dr. Timmons. I wasn't planning on speaking, so I'm not, I didn't really gather my thoughts very well. I just wanted to represent the part of our student body that lives out of town. I live in Palm Beach. I commute about 35 minutes, not including traffic. I tried to get an MPass. I came on the first day of school, totally willing to pay. I'm fine with paying them my money. I waited in line for 2 hours and left because I had to go to class, and by the time I got back, it was sold out. So that's fine. I've parked off campus before. I carpool every single day. Me and my sister come together, as well as some of our friends. When I talked to parking services, they told me to take the bus, which I wouldn't, but I don't go to town, to park at meters, which I would, but that's unbelievably expensive. We can't afford that. So we park off campus, and so far we've been lucky. We have always found a spot. But I leave at 8:30 and I have class at 11:30, at least 3 hours before my class. So we've had some discussion about how we can have some solutions for out-of-town kids. Something like a separate parking lot if you live out of town, so that you do have the option. Like, I don't have the option to and that's okay, I choose to go out of town, but if I had something that I can guarantee that I can go to class, even after driving. I understand Park and Ride is a really good program. If anybody's not familiar with it, it's you drive into town, park at like the Norman View Mall. If we could put more money into that somehow, because right now there's only like 2 routes a day. So again, it's not a very big program right now. Also, I had some ideas regarding passes and incentives to have more carpooling with passes. If passes were cheaper, if say you had more than one student number attached to them. And therefore people who are carpooling and who are helping the environment like that, as well as lowering the amount of cars on campus, if there was incentives, like a price decrease, if you're carpooling.
Those are great ideas. Those are great. Nelson, you got them all? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Alan. I'm on the nursing board campus. I just have a question. Lots of students, some students I know, they only have class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or only Tuesday, Thursday. So why can't parking services only sell passes for like Tuesday, Thursdays?
We're actually looking at that option right now, and we're analyzing the parking traffic, and I was informed today that they're looking at those differentiated parking for people who are taking classes. So we have to look at classes, attendance, and parking, so we're doing that very thing right now.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Good idea, man.
Any more? Hi, Tommy.
It's not my question. Somebody's too shy to come up, so I'll stand in the light. I'm not shy. Just an issue. Why do we get tickets after 5 o'clock? If the parking spaces are empty, why does it really matter? I mean, the question is, like, if you've got soccer practice or something like that, you need to the gym, and there's obviously ample parking around, and let's say you park at a meter, the meters run until 10 o'clock here. Does that happen anywhere else? No. The meters run until 10 o'clock, and they're not on par with the city either. You'll notice they don't accept dimes or nickels, and they seem to be a little less minutes. They're not on par. But right beside the meters over by the gym, I always kind of giggle at this. It says visitor parking after 5, but the meter's right next to them right until 10 o'clock. And one day I got a ticket, and I'm looking, I could just park one stall over to get that difference. A little silly.
We're talking less than 10%, but if you take a peek at it, you can squeeze in stalls. If you park diagonally, you can squeeze an extra lane. 2-lane traffic in parking stalls isn't necessary, you just have to be one way. So you can reduce the spots that people drive, you can increase the spots that you park. So you can optimize the lots, which possibly for increase small.
Thanks, Phil.
Does that include compact cars as you could expand in more?
Have an area for compact cars. Okay, thank you. Any other ideas, suggestions for us? Hi.
This isn't really a suggestion or a question. I'm just curious, a lot of what you're saying is you're looking into it or things are being discussed. I know you can't see the future, but when are we going to see a difference? How long am I going to pay $40 a week to go to class?
Well, right after this parking forum, early next week, I'm going to meet with the planning team. We're going to look at the options and put together some solutions based on feedback and things we're doing ourselves, like the Tuesday, Thursday. One of the challenges to get a sense of the traffic, the parking, and it really does take you a couple of weeks to get a good sense of where things are going. And so that is my guarantee to you. We'll meet next week to look at our options. Okay?
And one more question too, just going on what Tommy had said before too. It's hard. Sometimes my night class will run to 9, sometimes later, sometimes I need to study, and it's a little bit spooky walking across the street all the way over there. So definitely looking at those meters not running until 10 o'clock or having the option to park close by would make me feel a lot safer and a lot less spooky when I leave class.
That's really important.
Hi, I'm a recent graduate of the University in Regina, Session Market.
Your names?
My name is Brian. My point was, I just hope that there's a certain amount of consistency amongst the various decision parking services undertakes. And one of the ones I want to point out is 2 years ago, we brought in all these meters that have little green stickers on them that essentially replaced our 15-minute parking zones, getting rid of every possibility of essentially a form of loading zone in the university. So it's now impossible for me to come here park for less than 1 minute run inside, grab something, come out. And in that time, I can get a $65 parking ticket. So I'd like to see some consistency in that parking policy, that there is no such thing as loading zone, and the other policy that our tickets are expensive. So they don't necessarily jive. So I'd like to see some consistency in that.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Carrie. I just had a suggestion in terms of requiring passes to be given out.
Okay.
I would suggest that passes be given out based on how far away a student is from the university. So someone who lives outside of the city would receive first priority, whereas someone who lives across the street would be at the bottom of the list. Also, people who live in bus routes, if you have the U-Pass or whatever it's called, mandatory buses for everyone, it gives more money to transit itself to improve the routes and improve students who want to take the routes themselves, and that should be better than this. But also, I'm sorry, I'm not from Saskatchewan, but what I see is that generally if you have a car and there's a concern with parking tickets, if you want to have that car, the parking ticket should be part of your priority. As the youth today, we should take more initiatives into finding alternative routes. And I feel like there's a huge complaint on the cost itself, but if you want to have that car, that should be your cost that you want to take up. And also, with the administration, I feel the administration itself should have more direction to guide students into doing certain things like this. Like, I know the Ursula is very aggressive with the school. And to be honest with you, some of the things they say I don't agree with. Like, the UR school is pretty much destroys school spirit, honestly. But I feel that the administration themselves need to have more guidance to guide Ursula, and there should be more communication, more collaboration. We are all here together as a school, and we shouldn't be fighting between each other. It should be more of a collaboration. So I think as a school itself, we should work together to form that bond between everyone and just find alternative ways.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Wally Lawler, faculty member of the Faculty of Business. Thank you for having this open forum. Folks, I tell people every day how proud I am of my university, of our university. And I am. And I'm most proud of our motto, as one who serves. And every day I see people who live that motto. And you know from our prior conversations, just about every day that's just what I see. But sometimes I think people are losing sight of our motto. And as one who sets draconian policies and beats on those who don't follow them, is not where I want us to go. I hope that we will work on positive solutions. We've heard about it. But not to beat on people with extreme fines when they're dealing with the problem. Thank you for having the open forum and personally agreeing to hear what people have to say.
Thanks, Bob.
I was just wondering, do you know offhand how many people are on the Senate?
On Senate?
Yeah.
On our university Senate?
Yeah.
I think there are 50.
Okay, and each one of those 50 people gets a parking pass for free, where they can park anywhere on campus?
Not just everywhere, but yes, they do get a permit.
Yes, they do?
They get a permit, yes.
Yes, they do.
Okay. So, if that's the case, that doesn't really seem fair. It may just be me, but I don't think it's right to justify that kind of thing when you're making students who don't have that kind of money, who have to pay $200 for a parking pass that they're not guaranteed.
This is what's a good thing about coming here and listening to you, because you're educating me so well. I was not aware that all of our Senate members got a free parking pass. So thank you for that, and that is something I'm going to look at right away. And I'm sorry if there's any senators here, but that is something I'm going to be doing on Monday.
What I'm hearing a lot is it's an issue of convenience. I did a year in Saskatoon, and there was a resident program there for parking. All the resident students were required to park in one area. They are interspersed like they are on campus here. And when you see open spots in Lot 4 or Lot 3 that are those residents' cars, that I'm going to say about 75% of the time aren't used to like home for the weekend or out to the mall, those spots can be better utilized by the in-towners or the ones that are coming out from half an hour. If you were to move those resident spots to a further out location, Lot 15, FNU, where when they can go to their cars, they need them. But for those of us that are coming and going every day, those spots will be better utilized. I understand it might cut into the profit that parking services is making, but if you sell more of those spots, you generate a higher profit anyways.
Thank you for that.
My name is Kelsey Buddha. I'm a third-year student and I'm in the residence. Okay, so based on what he's saying, that means that if I go to the mall for 3 hours, or wait, never mind, actually, he talked about moving the spots to the First Nations University. Well, first of all, does that mean that I would have to lug my 10 bags of groceries to the residence buildings? I mean, we do have that half an hour lot that we can use to unload, but, sometimes that's full. And, I don't think it's, I think it'd be not a really good idea because...
Shuttle service. Shuttle service, right?
Shuttle. Well, I'm just saying that it is considered to be that way.
And I think what you highlighted is a parking complex with many, many interests, and we're going to do our best to balance that. Remember today, I want everyone to be able to have a voice and be able to give their opinions, and so I want everyone that comes up here to be treated with open respect. So let's continue that. I'm hearing that the residents' issue is a complex one, and we will keep that in mind. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brett. Earlier you mentioned the new parking lot that was going in. I was just wondering if you had the where and when.
Nelson, when will it be open?
The earliest will be January, latest the spring, because it depends on the weather.
So we're hoping for January.
Okay, well, I'm actually a fourth-year environmental engineering student, and I was wondering if there may be some sort of sustainable research opportunities or building some beneficial stormwater runoff or anything like that. So if you could
Partner? Yeah. Oh, okay, that'd be great. I'll connect you.
Yeah, so thanks.
Thank you. So I'm looking at our time. Any more final comments? Hi, Tommy.
How about a big round of applause for Dr. Vianne Timmons?
Thank you, Tommy. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming, and especially for the wonderful suggestions that you have given and how you have treated this forum with such respect. My pride in this university and in you, the student body, has just gone up even more than it was, which is hard to believe. That's what's wonderful about universities. It's a place that should foster debate, that we should have different opinions, that you should challenge your administration when you see something that you can't support or don't want to. So I run an institution that thrives on this kind of environment. So thank you for making this university a university I can be proud of as president. So I want to give you a hand. Thank you. All these public forum on the issue. So it wouldn't be practical, but I would ask you just to, if you have any issues or want to talk to me, I have, you know my email, it's been posted. You know my phone number, it's been posted. But you can also send me a note to communicate with me. You don't have to put up posters to say you want a public forum. Just ask me. And if it's an issue I can accommodate, I will do so for you. I want to work with you and with Ursula to make this campus one where you want to come, in spite of parking, and one where that you are very proud of this institution. We have 13,000 students coming here now. We are a mid-sized comprehensive university, and it's one that I'm proud of the president of. And I want to thank each and every one of you for choosing this university as yours, and we will work hard to deal with the issues you're facing every day. So thank you very much for your participation, but most of all, for making this a campus I'm proud of. Thank you.